which maybe, I don't know if you would compare that to Isan as well. Like, it could be its own country. I mean, they are completely, the language is much different than Thai. Like, and they'll say that certain people speaking Thai to Isan, they can also not understand each other. Can you speak on a little bit more of that? Because obviously you know the language much better than us.
Well, what I can say is that currently within on the border of Burma and Thailand, there is the state called the Karen state, which is in Burma, and there's been constant fighting between the military and the Karen military for their independence there. So as you were talking about before, they are trying to establish their own country, and it's been happening for a long time there. But yeah, generally with languages, I mean, they're such a distinct part of your identity, right? So trying to become your own independent state seems like such a obvious thing to want to do, right?
It's the same in countries like Spain with people from Catalonia,
right? Yeah.
Probably the same. A lot of people don't. I mean, Canada, Quebec, Montreal, same thing.
Fight for independence happens all over the world,
exactly.
Right?
What part of you do you consider yourself Thai, or is it just a second home?
No, I do not consider myself Thai. I consider myself 100% Australian.
Okay.
I think I went through that period early when I was like 17 or 18 where I wanted to be Thai. I wanted every part of my being to be Thai. I wanted to hang out with Thai. I wanted to go to Thai university, do this. The older I got, the more I realized it's actually way better to be like a foreigner who really deeply loves Thailand, in my opinion, because the reality is I'm never going to be Thai. Look at me. That's my belief. I'm never going to be Thai, but goddamn, I can really love the place, appreciate it, and show the parts of it that a lot of main media would never show. And that's always been my incentive. So I'm a proud Aussie. I love Australia. I think it's an amazing country, and I love living in Sydney, but I also love Thailand. So it's a second home for me.
Throughout your entire life, I mean, it seems like you've taken on this Thai project as well, of like all or nothing, almost like a black belt in Thai if we compared it to jiu-jitsu. Was there anything else in life, like when you take on a certain subject, are you all or nothing?
I'm pretty intense. Yeah.
What else could you share with us, like besides Thai, that you go all in?
I mean, like high school exams for a start. Like I would have just studied so much for my high school exams. Recently, I'm really into my running, so I ran a half marathon recently and trained really hard for it. Anything where there's like an achievement, which like people will say I can't do it, I often have an incentive just to prove them wrong.
Where does that come from, though?
I don't know. I think it's like a desire. I think like once you achieve one goal, it's like even starting YouTube, right? For one, like who would have thought ever that you could grow a channel to more than 100,000 subscribers with over however many million views? When I first started, people would be like, "You're nuts. You're completely nuts. Well, no one's going to be interested in this kind of thing." I think once a common human mindset is that like challenge, it's hard, but it's good for you, right? Like we love challenge. Humans love challenge. That's how we progress for so long. And I think I'm one of those people who love it. I get really bored by just like watching Netflix at home. I'll stay at home on a weekend and be like, I hate this. Or I need to go outside and go for a run. And it's intense. Or like I need to go out and socialize with someone. Like I love socializing with people. I don't see that as a waste of time. But like just kind of normal things that like are the mainstream just to do, like getting home and just like popping on the TV. Nowadays, I do not like that. I don't find any enjoyment out of it. I don't find any satisfaction out of it. And I think it stems from that challenge attitude. I really like it.
Yeah, I was listening to another podcast you did with a friend. It's
Johnny Boyle.
Johnny Boyle.
Yeah.
And your first goal essentially was to hit 3,000 subs. Well, that happened pretty quick. When you were learning Thai, did you set goals and I need to get to this level? And how do I objectively measure that?
No, I don't think so. It was very natural progress. And it was only when I had particular moments where I understood something that previously I would have never understood that I realized I'd gotten to the next level. It was a very natural progress. I was 17 or 18 at the time. I didn't really have any of that mindset back then. I think my mindset's changed a little bit since 8 years ago. That was probably the stepping stone to become a bit more like how I am now. But when I was 17 or 18, I was just having fun. I was just making new friends. I was in a new place, a new culture, experiencing everything for a first time. If I was to go at this age, I'd probably have a completely different experience. Who knows? I maybe would never have gotten to the same level of Thai as I did back then, to be honest.
Yeah, I think when we're that young and you don't have many responsibilities, you can take these projects on and you become essentially a sponge.
Yeah.
To fast track, because we would stick around much longer, but again, we lost about 10, 15 minutes of content.